Have you ever looked at yourself back from a video or something and just thought to yourself, why are you so busy? There is no need to rush. And I may have had that last episode. Looking back, here my idea is to take things a little bit more slow and talk a little bit more on a reasonable speed, so I can actually think of what I want to say and stumble a little bit less. And I just keep on rambling. Hello and welcome to a new episode. Episode 2, if I'm correct, on the BrokeRock SMP. We're currently underneath my base. Last episode we had seen my base and the upside of my base, the attic you can call it, where my storage is, and this is actually underneath. Well, a little bit more underneath. There's actually another layer in between here, I think. Yeah, where I do the smelting. This over here used to be filled with spuds, or potatoes, or however you call them. And would make a little bit more sense if I now go up over here. I've got a whole array of smelters, furnaces, and I would make baked potatoes out of them. This is what I have been doing for the beginning of the season, and that was my way of trying to figure out a early game source of XP. Long story short, it did work kinda, but I wouldn't advise it. Like, it takes a whole lot of time before the spuds are grown good enough. Then you need to put them in the furnace, so you do need to have enough fuel as well for the furnaces. Yeah, it's just not quite handy. And as you can see, I've got multiple levels of them. I think I've got 3, and then this is just, yeah, where I enter the mines, you could say. And yeah, this has definitely worked in the beginning of the season with the XP situation that you always have in the beginning of a new world, when there isn't any shop that is selling XP bottles. I know there are villagers on the server. Why aren't there any XP bottles? But fine. But as I said, I wouldn't advise actually using potatoes. You need to plant them, of course, again, which is annoying. Well, I guess now I think if you want to go to the effort and take help of villagers, that could work. That could definitely work. Then you just get a potato farm, and then you would also need to create a bamboo farm or something like it. And then that could work. But see, that then already quickly becomes a more end level farm, or at least later in the season. So because if you're going the villager route, yeah, if you're going the villager route, then just go villager trading hall and you will have all the XP in the world. So yeah, that doesn't make sense. If you want to have it on potatoes only, you will need to farm them yourselves, which also means replanting them, which at the moment is going okay. But yeah, this is Bedrock. If I try to speed plant these, they'll just delete every now and then. So definitely not handy. Potato talk out of the way, there's actually something I want to pick up this episode, and for that we need to have a look at the board. Well, we might actually tackle the whole of this episode. I'm not certain yet, but at least we'll have a look at the first job that I did, which is called the upgrade shop that I did for Jax when I first joined here on the Season 7 server of BrokeRock. The first I was to stumble across was actually Jax, which, well, that may explain why he is my neighbor, because one of the things he did was offer me a place in the town village right next to him. So that's Jax and Kai's mansion, I think. So that's why I'm located right here at the edge a little bit. But the second thing that he offered was a job. which is precisely where I joined as a helper for on this season. So I was like, sure, how can I help you? And the thing that Jax was struggling with was to have a storefront for his shop. I did have some ID, and we chatted around a little bit, discussed multiple things, and we settled about that it needed to be at least revolving about the thing that he was primarily trying to sell, which is this thing that I'm holding over here, also known as the... what's it called again? Right, upgrade. I almost said upgrade template, but that's apparently not right. It's the smithing template for the netherite upgrade. I think, or it is the other way around. It's the netherite upgrade for the smithing template. No, it's the first one, I think. Yes. Anyway, he got a hold of a lot of these, I guess, and even donated me ones for as a thank you for the shop, I think. But I want you to take close attention to this this little thing over here, because you are maybe gonna recognize it in the shop later. But anyway, he wanted to have some help with designing a shop, and this block came to mind. Obviously, this is the smithing table at which you would use a netherite upgrade, of course. And I don't know how we came up to that, but eventually thought of like, well, what if we gonna make a smithing table as the shop, right? You just go into the smithing table to buy your smithing templates. That makes sense, right? Yeah, for sure. So I was like, okay, that would be a fun challenge, trying to, because I've never done this before, but obviously if it wasn't clear yet, we wanted to scale this up. You cannot fit into this table. Even optically this may fit like this. I'm just below the smithing table. But no, I'm way taller than this, so I cannot fit into this. But if we just scale this up, say 1 pixel for every block, then it is quite a grandeur shop. So the next thing was like, okay, where are we gonna put this thing? And we discussed a few locations. Primarily the pier, which is kind of out of render distance at the moment, was what he considered the first. It was quite empty then yet, so maybe where Kermit is sitting, or underneath there in the wall, and that seemed like a good idea, but then as I started calculating, too big. So we decided on, okay, let's just go for the 16 cube, but we'll have to put it somewhere underground. I was a little bit relentless, you could say, to putting it above ground. In hindsight, with especially the frog over there, that it would have fitted in quite nice, but we decided to put it underground instead. So there's a good chance that you actually haven't seen this shop before. And that's why we are gonna visit it. I'm very much enjoying this season, and I wish to make a little bit more episodes, really, but it can be challenging from time to time, where I'm not always able to, or in the mood, as you may be able to call it, to make episodes, which is why this one is delayed also a little bit. A mixture of both, and maybe even a third ingredient. But we're here still, so I'm counting this as a win, because in the past I would have considered this a failure and not even try to do a new episode again. So me standing here is a good sign, and more episodes are definitely to come. If anything, just because I have already built some stuff that I definitely want to show before the season ends. So yeah, right, I think we are here. Now there are 2 ways to exit this shop. Exit also, but access the shop is what I meant to say. And well, this one is the most clear. I just slept the rain away. How is it raining again? The most obvious entry is with this signage. It started selling fog lights as well, just before it got competition. And so you can enter it next to the retaining wall down here. And have a small zigzag over there. But originally, my idea was to, well, that you were able to get here via boat. And you had a small docking over here where you could put your boat, get out. You would always end up on the slabs. I made sure of that. And then you could just walk down here. And then we've got this staircase. I need to go down to have enough room. And decided to decorate this a little bit in a jungly theme. We're again in the jungle, so I wanted to feel this overgrown at least. And I think I succeeded a little bit. A little bit sad that you can see the stone through the leaves, but if you don't notice too quickly, it's fine. And then we've got the shop itself. Here we go. Looking familiar. Only ever did the hammer at the front. I'm meant to put these things at this side as well, I think. And other sides don't matter really, because you wouldn't see them as most. But I would have done it maybe if this was gonna develop anymore. Because there was some thinking about this maybe being an underground shopping hall. But apparently, well, or clearly, it stayed at this one shop for the entire season. So, that's why it's maybe not as finished as... and you have to also think, I was like in my beginner's gear. I only had a pickaxe, I think. And no beacon at all, so I needed to dig this out. And I think somebody actually dug into this shop. And I'm only noticing that now. And then we have the K&J Industries shop. For the best upgrade servers, of course. Why go elsewhere? Why go anywhere else, indeed. And if we're going in here, I did a little bit of decoration. Now, inside decoration isn't really my forte, let alone building. But this turned out to be quite okay. Put some lanterns at the top to have some light at the ceiling. And we have, of course, the floor. I was looking, well, what did I want to show again? Well, this, of course. And look at this again. Do you see the blue arrow? I decided to put the template on the floor. And because it wasn't quite centered, because this arrow is 5 blocks wide-ish and thus uneven, but the block itself is even, so I couldn't place it in the center, or at least I didn't want to place it in the center, and thus I decided to put 2 in them, each in the corner, nicely spaced. And if you pay attention, then it's clear that this is a template shop. But since then, well, it has grown. There are now selling mending books, and we've got gunpowder and rockets over here, and elytras, and iron, and frog lights, as we saw at the top, and even name tags. I mean, yeah, okay, and the upgrade service is literally just over here. I'm wondering if anyone even made use of this, and now I think about it. May need to do that myself, but then again, diamond is fine as well. And we got dog armor. Yep. Purely a template shop. Yes. And seeing as we're already done with showing that, and this episode is still young, why not go and have a look at another job I did. We've got the Nether Hub and the Nether Tunnels. If you were there the day that the stream day was there, I was there as well, and I may have helped a little bit with getting the process started. A little bit too eager. This was, of course, a community project, and thus I did not do everything, but I've done quite a lot. So to start things off at this nether side, obviously the main person to thank for this whole design is Judd. He came up with the design, I think he alone. And yeah, we just built it over here. We've got this open ceiling over there. Somebody had already destructed the bedrock over there, so we could have a nice ceiling view through to the red nether sky. The golems explain themselves of why they're hanging there. And yeah, we all built this at around the community streaming day. And it turned out very nice. And we've got the different colored tunnels. If I'm right, this is the north tunnel. That makes that the east one. South one is orange, and the red one goes west. And then around the corner, I made sure that we've got a lot of signs that indicate which persons you can find in which direction. So, for example, TF Brit, Enhanced Rain, and Jamaica are all in these tunnels, with TF Brit being soonest to find at 60 blocks away. You can see it over there. And then a few bit further, we've got Enhanced Rain and Jamaica at respectively 70 and 110 blocks. I didn't mean to edit that. I've done that for each tunnel, but I'm particularly zooming in on the south tunnel. And let's just go for a little boat ride, because why not? We've got Sasquatch. That's new, I think, on this tunnel. We've got Dr. Yan Xian, and we've got the Badlands mining zone at, yes, we're not kidding, 660 blocks. Oh, I've seen that tunnel before, yeah, of Sask. That's the whole colored on its donut island. Yeah, that's quite creative. Can I straighten this boat? Yeah, let's just have a little look and see this tunnel go and go. We've passed Dr. Yan Xian. And go, and go. There's some nether trees apparently going through. And go, and go, and go, and go, and go. And finally, we reach the end at the Badlands mining zone. There are no further interesting places, I think, beyond this. And if there are, then one can just go around the corner a little bit and continue down north. But even this path doesn't extend much further than those torches over there. This tunnel, except for maybe the beginning few blocks, which are give about 10 or so, I've eventually constructed myself. I don't think I had any help on this side. So 660 blocks out, all of nether tunnel constructed by me, myself, and I. Am I crazy? Maybe, but then again, it took me a long time, and I didn't have to make episodes in the meantime. So it was nice to chop away at. I really missed it. I really miss just playing some Minecraft and doing repetitive stuff, because that's what I like about Minecraft. Like, I'm not too much into detailed building enough to think about every detail in the block. If you just give me a pattern, I can just repeat and repeat and repeat, and that's very nice. And maybe I can nowadays put a little bit of variation into it, but I'm still having to learn on that. So yeah, I like these kinds of tasks. I can just chop away at it, and for that reason, I'm starting again. This south tunnel has been neglected for too long, so well, I've started making the first beginnings. I'm making sure that this is blocked off, and people are taking a new side tunnel. This is completely safe. There's only just a little bit of netherrack that I may clean up in the future. But then again, this is meant as a temporary tunnel, with a little bit of view on the construction side. That would be interesting, right? And then this has been blocked off because this is quite unsafe yet. Yeah, that's the open nether over there, and gas do spawn on top of the roof, so this is definitely unsafe, and this is way much more a safer alternative for the time being. Made myself here a construction area, and in between episodes I'll probably chop away at this again, but that will be the result, maybe in the next episode, but that will be it for this episode at least. I hope you enjoyed it. Next episode, we are going to the gaming district, where I've got a few little games. One a little one, and another that's a little bit bigger. And I'm excited to show you that, but that will have to wait just a little bit. I need to prepare a little bit more. And I hope to see you back then again soon. Bye for now.